Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. My name is Martha Brown, and I am your volunteer with Dementia Friendly Fort Worth. We are proud to offer this series with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and the United Way of Tarrant County. These programs are recorded and are made available for viewing through a YouTube channel for future use. I am your host for today's activity. However, Gail Snyder is our Cookie Conversations cook for the day.
Thank you, Martha.
Take it away, Gail.
All right. So first off, I am going to share with you our recipe. Are you seeing anything?
Not
No,
yet.
not yet.
It's tittering.
Now
There we
we
go.
do.
Here it is. And I just made, oops.
There it is.
Now it's back.
Okay, so we are making lemon and sesame seed cookies. Have any of you ever had these before?
No.
No.
Oh,
I
but they
have
sound
not.
good.
Oh, and I see I have a typo. I'll have to fix that before I send it to you all. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do with our recipe, and I apologize, it's overcast here, and the lighting in my kitchen, although I have a lot, it seems a little dark in here, so I apologize. I've turned on every light in the immediate connecting areas, and it's not helping.
You look
All
very
right.
nice this morning, just bright enough.
Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we need 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds, and it says to dry fry these sesame seeds over low heat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to measure out our sesame seeds. Oop, I just made a mess. Okay.
Just made a mess.
Done that before.
Gail, could you tilt your camera down just a little bit?
Right.
We
You
can
didn't
see
see
a little bit
anything.
better.
You didn't see the mess, and I got it cleaned
No,
up.
I didn't see the
No.
mess. No. Okay.
So
Thank
we've
you.
got our 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds, and we're going to travel across the kitchen to the stove.
We need traveling music. I love it that you have a table that moves.
All right. So here we are at the stove. And we are going to dry fry these sesame seeds. So can you see the pale color?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very pale. So we're going to dry fry them until they start to turn brown, and you can start to smell the aroma of the seed.
Can't wait for that.
I already know it's going to be good, don't you, Yetta?
Be nice if we could smell them over the internet, huh?
That's right. It would, but we can.
Phil, that comment right there is what started the mailing of the cookies.
Really?
Oh.
One of our, some of you were here when Patrick was here over the holidays.
Yeah.
He was with us during the summer, and he said we need a scratch and sniff screen so we can smell what's going on in the kitchen. And that's how I got the idea that I needed to mail the cookies.
Oh, that is sweet.
That's good.
Heaven.
There was an old cartoon basically that had a play off television. It was called Smell-O-Vision.
Smell-O-Vision.
Yeah.
Smell-O-Vision. Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Good morning, Miss
We're
Nancy.
starting to brown just a little bit. Good morning, Nancy.
Mhm.
Morning.
Oh, there's that smile. We're glad to have you with us.
I'm going to see if can you see that on the stove?
Yes,
Mhm.
Yes, we
Yeah.
can see it.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
we're using our smelling of imaginations on this one, Gail.
So I'm starting to smell them, and they're starting to turn a light brown.
Is that medium heat, Gail?
Yes.
Do they not jump in the pan, those seeds?
Not really.
Not? Okay, I find that they do that when I toast them.
Yes, they are just a little bit. Maybe it's because the heat is low. Can you see that it's starting to change colors?
Yes.
I can't tell it's changing colors.
Yeah.
Does it
We don't
matter?
have any more pale ones to compare them to.
No, because I just emptied the bottle into there was only a few left, so I went ahead and put the rest of it in there.
Good.
Okay, now you
Yeah,
can see.
yeah, I can see.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yum.
We're going to give it just another minute. And Yetta, you're right. They are jumping just a little
Yeah.
now that they're getting hot. So what do you cook that you use dry fried sesame seeds?
Oh, gee, I have forgotten.
There's an Asian cookie that's a rolled up ball of dough that you wrap in sesame seeds, but I don't know the name of it. Steve, do you know the name?
I don't know the name of it. I've had them.
Well, when I looked for the picture online for these cookies, there were lots of other pictures that had the sesame seeds on the outside,
Yeah.
but not the recipe that's in this book.
Mm-hmm.
So the picture that I shared is actually the picture from the book. Okay, so now I'm going to set this aside for a minute.
Ties have a
What's that?
your dessert type that's almost like a taffy or something with sesame seeds on the outside, covered with sesame seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. Very sweet.
Mm.
You can buy it all over the place because it's very popular.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Anything
it is.
toffee is good.
Okay, there was just enough left in the pan. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Yep.
the dark ones are in your right hand.
And these are the light ones.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
now you can see
Absolutely.
the difference.
Thank you for the comparison.
All right, so the next thing we need is 2 sticks of unsalted butter.
Thank you so much for going to the store. Gail was telling us last week that she's always worried she's going to run out of butter, so she always buys more.
So my son has been telling me that I'm buying too much butter, and so he has this thing, and he thinks he can tell me when I need to buy new butter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know, I always buy a lot and then I freeze it. Then I don't have to shop so much.
Well, I always try to keep extra, especially since I'm baking every week.
Mm-hmm.
But he was telling me I had too much because we had to put some of it out in the refrigerator in the garage.
Oh,
Well, his new system, I'm using half salted and half unsalted butter.
okay.
Good morning, Dan.
Dan. It's so nice to see you.
Hi, Gail. How are you?
Good
I'm
morning,
well. How are
Dan.
you?
We thought we'd drop in and see what this is all about.
Well, you picked a perfect day because we're baking cookies in the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
But
Well,
we
good,
can't
good.
eat any of them.
That would be
Oh,
right.
But we will get them.
Gail, tell Paulette about the mail out.
So
They're
Paulette,
diet cookies. You cook them, but we don't get to eat them, so we lose weight in the process, right?
well, there's a little known secret that if you attend this program and you've provided me with your address, you will get a box of cookies in the mail in a few days.
Oh, okay. You email them, right?
No, I send them in snail mail.
Oh,
Snail
okay.
mail.
I'm just blowing your leg.
Okay,
Sometimes it really is snails.
And what a delight they are.
Escargot.
okay, so I have put our butter into our mixing bowl, and now we need 3/4 cup of super fine sugar.
Super fine.
Super fine, do you use powder sugar when you say super fine?
So I had to look that up, and it actually says if you have, I guess in Europe, they have superfine sugar and they don't really sell that here in the United States. So I'm gonna pulse it in my little food chopper for just a few minutes
Oh,
to
Make it super fine.
And if I put in a full 3/4 cups, I'm gonna have more sugar when I get finished.
mm.
So I'm not gonna put quite 3/4 of a cup in there.
Yeah.
You see, I didn't know that it is a special sugar in Europe. So I have a recipe that I bake and it says fine sugar, but I just use normal sugar and I can't tell the difference.
And sometimes you probably can. It probably depends on what the texture of the recipe. So now I'm gonna pulse this in my little chopper just a little bit. And then we're gonna add the sugar to the butter.
Sugar to the butter.
All right, and now we want to add our sesame seeds to the batter that we have dry fried. And now we're going to mix that up. And while that's mixing, whoop, my lemons are running away.
The runaway cook.
Right. Can you all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
And because the sesame seeds are browned, you can actually see them in the batter.
Hmm.
If you hadn't browned them, you wouldn't even know they were there hardly. Okay, so now we need 1 tablespoon of finely grated lemon.
Okay.
Yeah, lemon zest. Lemon zest.
Yes.
My nose is already wanting to smell these with all of
Oh,
those
yeah.
ingredients.
All these flavors.
Yes. I'm having
Amazing
Lemon.
how many, how you open up the refrigerator and how many lemons we've got that already been zested. They're sitting in the refrigerator.
Yes.
I did some prep last night. So I actually have already made 2 batches of these.
Oh, thank you, Gail.
Wow.
And
I'll be sure to
so
get you my address quickly.
Yes.
if you're not sure if I have your address, you can share it in the text box and Martha will jot it down for me so that I'll have it.
The chat box should be, it's on my right. I hope it is on the right where you are.
If you don't see your chat box, there's a bubble at the bottom of the screen that says chat.
And you can say to everyone, or you can say to Martha, and I'll get it.
So when you're zesting a lemon or an orange or a lime, you have to be sure not to dig too deep because you don't want to get the pith of the lemon or the orange into the zest.
You don't want to get your fingers either.
No, that's true.
That doesn't add much flavor.
Well, it adds a little color.
The
Little
finger.
color, yeah.
So I'll have to drink, me and my son will have to drink lemon in our tea for the next week to use up all the lemon.
Yeah.
Gail, I don't know if this would work in your house, but when I find organic lemons, I'll buy a dozen and I'll zest them and put the zest in a Ziploc bag and freeze it flat. And
Oh, yeah.
then chop up the rest of the lemon and put it in the blender and make lemon blend out of it and put it in ice cube trays.
Uh-huh.
And you don't have to take the seeds out or anything. And it's perfect for cooking if you don't want to have to keep lemons around.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I have a mason jar full of lemon zest and lemon juice in my freezer at all times so that I can always cook.
That's a great idea.
Thank you, Dan.
All right. So now we have our lemon zest. Can you all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I bet that smells good.
It does smell really good. So we're going to add that to the blender. I'm going to stir that in, and I just realized I forgot to turn on the oven. So I'm going to go across and turn on the oven.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to pull everything off of the sides. So we're sure to get everything mixed in. We want some lemon zest in all of it.
Oh, yes.
All right, now we need 1 egg yolk lightly beaten and 2¼ cups of all-purpose flour.
Dan and Debbie, have you lived in Granbury for a long time?
Let me unmute there. Yes, we have, Steve. We've had a home here since '91.
Okay.
Where are you located?
I'm in Grand Prairie. But I had a good friend who lived in Granbury. Her past husband was a pastor at one of the churches. Her name was Georgia Hoover.
What was it?
Hoover. Hoover.
Hoover.
Yeah.
And that was his name too?
Yes. I don't remember what church it was at. It was one of the Baptist churches. That's all I know.
Okay, so I've slightly beat our egg. I'm going to add that to the mix. And I don't know what I would do without rubber spatulas.
Mm-hmm.
They are a saving grace, aren't they?
Or you would lose half of your ingredients if you didn't have them.
What kind of mixer is that you have, Gail?
This is a KitchenAid. It says Ultra Power. And I have had this for probably 15 to 18 years. It's one of the best appliances I've ever owned. And my family got it for me for Christmas. And it probably gets used more than most household blenders do.
I think I told you that we got our daughter one of them for Christmas. It was actually the professional that was on sale, and she just loves it.
Wow.
She's the grandkids, so they'll get a lot of use.
Yeah, this one has the dough hook.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you can knead your bread, and it saves a lot of labor when you're making bread. Okay, so we need 2¼ cups of flour. And taking a suggestion from Dusty, I decided to sift the flour, even though it didn't say,
Okay.
just to see if that would enhance the texture of the cookies.
Uh-huh.
You'll have to tell him all about that.
I've never seen a sifter quite like that.
I don't even know where I got this.
All I know is about the old time
Well, I have
sifters.
the old ones too.
Yeah.
It's not close enough for me to see what that sifter was like.
Okay, just a minute and I'll show you.
Okay.
Get another. I actually messed it up a few minutes ago because I got it stuck together. So it has a container at the bottom
How
that has
cool.
measurements.
Uh-huh.
And then it has this piece that lifts off for when I
Oh,
finish sifting it. And then the sifter portion sits on top. And then it also has this where if you want to shake it out once you,
Yeah, that's
but
cool.
this also helps to keep the flour from flying everywhere.
does it
Cool.
still have the little blades that go around and around like the old sifters?
I'm going to show you here in just a second what it has.
Okay, good. I love gadgets. I don't have many, but I love them.
So can you see the?
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
That's the same mechanism. Thank you.
It's right here. It was a round thing that would go around. Sort of squeeze it in.
So because it came apart a while ago, I can show you this a little closer.
Oh, nice.
This is what sits in there that rotates to push the flour through the sifter.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's supposed to come apart. It was stuck earlier and I couldn't get it off. So I may have broken it.
You're a
A little
little
super
into
glue will work.
Okay, so now we're going to add our flour. And it takes quite a little bit of mixing to incorporate that batter.
So are you using the whisks, or are you using the hook?
I'm using the paddle.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to prepare to roll out our dough. And it says to roll it between 2 sheets of parchment paper or wax paper.
and this is
Right now it still looks a little crumbly, but it's starting to come together.
where you need the counter space that you now have.
Yes. So can you all see?
Yeah.
Right now it looks crumbly and like it's not going to come together, but it will. All right, so we're going to mix that a little more.
Gail, in mixing it more, are you hoping that it will come together better?
Yes, and because I tested it last night,
Uh-huh.
I know that it will come together as it mixes a little more.
Good to know.
That's how I use my hands, but my Danish Christmas butter cookies are also, it takes a lot of kneading to get together, so it will stick.
Yes, it is starting to come together now.
Yeah, those cookies sound wonderful
It's going
too.
to start to stick together. So it's like a really thick sugar cookie, the batter.
I love butter cookies.
Oh, me too.
They get so nice and crisp.
Okay, so now you can see the difference. See, it's starting to come together. Yet, I think it was back in the summer, early fall, we made sable cookies, which are also called Danish or French butter cookies.
Okay.
They were very good. I think I'm ready to do those again.
Okay, sounds good. Were they crisp?
Yes.
Yes.
I had planned to make some for Christmas gatherings here at home, and I just ran out of time.
Okay. What did you call them?
The recipe that we found, it was called Sable, S-A-B-L-E.
Okay.
Sable cookies are French butter cookies.
Okay.
I wonder what the difference in French and Danish butter cookies are. That'd be a good thing to
That's a
dig
good
up and
question.
find.
Maybe the butter.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Sticking
yeah.
together.
It did
Yeah.
make a difference.
All right. So now it says to refrigerate that for 30 to 60 minutes. So I've already done that.
Through the magic of Zoom.
And I refrigerated a batch of the dough overnight so that it would be ready, but I had to soften it just a little bit so that we can work with it. Okay, so now you can see, you see the sesame seeds in that?
No, that's a little difficult.
Yeah. I don't see them.
We believe you.
You see them now?
Oh, the dark spots.
Yes,
Okay.
those are the sesame seeds. So now we're going to roll this out, and it doesn't really say how thick to roll it out, but in my test last night, you want it to be like a thick sugar cookie, not too thin, or they don't brown evenly on the bottom. And you have to kind of press the edges together so that you can get the most out of your dough. Can you all see this okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then it says to use about a 2.5-inch diameter cutting circle. So now we have that flattened out. I'm going to grab my cookie sheet.
I'm so glad she loves to cook, aren't y'all?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
We're so fortunate.
All right. So I have my 2.25-inch. This is actually an antique biscuit cutter.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Oh, the red handle.
Yes. And it has the removable place for the donut hole in the center. So it's a biscuit and a donut cutter, and it's two screws inside here.
You take me back to childhood.
You twist it so you can make a donut. But I found that this size seemed a little big to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm also going to use this glass
Yes.
to make some that are smaller.
You also get more that way.
Yes. I'm going to cut these just as close together as I can. Oh, that was too small. All right. Now I'm going to place these on the cookie sheet. We're not going to spread a lot, but we don't want them to stick together as they bake.
Right.
So perfect little round discs, even in thickness all around, so that they don't get over the bottom. What was that?
We had a cough.
Oh,
Philip.
Or was it a sneeze?
It was a cough.
Oh,
All right. Move that out of the way. We'll pick that up later. Okay, so now we're gonna make a trip across the kitchen. You can see the two smaller ones are here on this corner.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
We're gonna head over to the stove. And I found last night in my pre-bake, it says to bake them on 375 for 10 to 12 minutes. And I found that 375 was a little too warm. So I'm gonna lower that to 370 now that the oven is hot. And I'm gonna set the timer for 11 minutes. And then I'm gonna show you, these are some that I baked last night.
Mhm.
This is from the first batch. Can you see the brownness on the bottom?
Yes,
Yeah.
These are a little bit lighter.
Does it make a difference in taste, do you think?
No, it's just a better, I think, a preference of if you'd like it more crispy.
Mm.
So last night I used the new red pan that you just saw, and then I used another pan, and that pan didn't seem to bake them as evenly. So now if you can see on this corner, I've already iced these two, and we're gonna go back to the baking center. See the glaze on there?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. It's shiny.
So we're gonna go back to the baking center and we're gonna prepare our lemon glaze to go on top.
Mm-hmm.
I am so glad that you love to cook, Gail.
Well, my husband used to always tell our children he didn't care what they decided to be
Mm-hmm.
when they grew up. He
Mm-hmm.
just wanted them to find a job that they love.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the parts of my job that I really love, because I get to visit with you all while I cook in the kitchen.
We'll let you keep right on doing it too.
Okay, so for our lemon glaze, we need 1 cup of confectioner's sugar, but I have actually measured out 2 cups because I've got 2 batches of cookies to ice.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already sifted this in the sifter. And then it calls for lemon extract. But I did some reading, and I did not have lemon extract. So I did some reading, and it said you could use lemon zest instead, and it was actually going to give you a better flavor.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Because the lemon extract has a little bit of artificial taste to it. So we're going to use fresh lemon zest.
Oh, I bake for Christmas a cookie that has orange in it, and for that glaze, it just calls for fresh squeezed orange juice. So I'm sure you can just use some of all the juice you have from the lemon.
Well, it says to use a tablespoon of hot water.
Mm-hmm.
So we could try using a tablespoon of hot lemon juice.
Mm-hmm.
So we might actually try that.
Okay.
So how many of you like to have lemon in your tea, your iced tea?
Yes, an iced tea, yes.
Anybody put it in hot tea?
No.
No. Only if I have a rum toddy.
We needed to help coat your throat, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
What
I
about
put milk into my tea.
milk?
Yes.
I was just about to ask, how many of you put milk in your hot tea? My husband does, but I don't want milk in mine.
I don't either.
Gail really likes hot tea. You even have a favorite hot tea cup, don't you, Gail?
I have a couple.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite blend of tea?
I used to always say it was English breakfast,
Uh-huh.
where I learned to drink hot tea when I was in Africa. And we always had English breakfast tea
Oh, yeah.
in the morning and in mid-afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
But I recently tried Irish breakfast,
Okay.
and I used the Twinnings brand.
Mm-hmm.
And the Irish is a little bit more mild.
Okay.
And so that's what I've been using for the last few months. But people, because I like hot tea, lots of people think, oh, I'll get her this set that has all these different kinds of tea in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always go back to my favorites, breakfast tea.
That's something. And you just mentioned Africa, and I had no idea that you'd ever been in Africa.
Yes.
Was that when your husband was in the service?
No, it was when I was in college. So, okay, so I'm adding this lemon zest to our powdered sugar. When I was in college, I went on a summer mission trip, and I worked at a Bible school, not a Bible college, a Bible school.
Wow.
In Liberia, West Africa.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so now you can see the lemon zest.
Uh-huh.
And we are going to squeeze some fresh lemon also.
Have you ever had Boti, B-O-H? That's a brand.
Mm-mm.
It's from Malaysia. It's Cameron Highlands in Malaysia.
I have not.
We've gone to their plantations,
Uh-huh.
and they actually show you how they process it and the differences in processing the different teas.
Right.
And it's a very, very good tea. They only use the best parts.
Right. Of the
Some of the big brands don't use the best parts of the tea leaf.
Right.
Lipton's and others are not as I say, don't use as much as Boti. Boti is just it's a gourmet type of tea,
Right.
but it's very good. It's excellent.
And it's B-O-H.
B-O-H is the name of it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so I have heated my lemon juice just a little. Let me see how much I have here because I may need some more. Yeah.
Ich habe ganz wenig.
Do you use your microwave much when you're doing this kind of cooking? Like to heat the lemon?
Some, yes. I prefer to soften my butter more just to room temperature, but sometimes if I don't get it out ahead of time, I have to resort to softening it in the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to heat this lemon juice just a little.
How long did you plan on your kitchen before you actually made it?
Well, we had to change the design midstream.
Oh.
The little sink that is over here to my left,
Mm-hmm.
that's the same plumbing that was here for the original sink. And because of the way it was done, we could not eliminate it. So that's how I ended up with my extra little sink.
That is so cool. And you have your microwave right there also. It's just so compact and convenient.
Yes. Okay, so I think I'm going to have a little bit of that hot water. Get this to mix. This is kind of acting like that cookie batter. It doesn't want to mix together.
It's making you work for it.
But powdered sugar kind of does what cornstarch does when you first add water to it.
Do you mean it clumps up?
It kind of clumps up and it's hard to stir. We don't want to get too much water or our glaze will run off of the cookies.
I'm really glad that you've done a lot of this so you know what things not to do.
That does help.
Yes, it does.
Will one of you stir this while I check on the cookies?
Sure.
Okay.
Who wants to stir that while she checks on the cookies? Oh, Yetta's handed. Yeah, I'll do a little. Who else wants to stir a little?
What do you have? What do you have there, Martha?
This is a son conure named Woodstock.
Oh, wow.
He's
A
my pal.
conure.
They're bred to be companions and cuddly.
What a neat bird.
Oh, I tell you, I couldn't have made it through COVID without a companion.
We had a bird in our house this weekend. That was fun.
It wasn't tame, huh?
Oh, no. And it didn't want to leave.
Oh, no.
It took 2 days to get that bird out.
Oh,
my
wow.
goodness.
What kind of a bird was it?
It looked like maybe, I don't know, in some ways it looked like a swallow, but I wouldn't think the swallows are around right now. So I don't know.
Okay, so our timer just went off on the cookies and I checked them and they're a little bit lighter than these ones on the tray. So I reset the timer for another 2 minutes.
Good girl.
Got a question for the group while you're doing that. Has anybody been able to successfully get a COVID vaccine? And does anybody have any leads on where they might have them? I've been on the phone for hours and can't come up with anything.
So we are signed up.
What county are you in, Dan?
Well, I'm in Hood and Hood doesn't have a program. So right now I'm on waiting lists in Parker, Tarrant, Dallas, Rockwall,
Wow.
Travis County. I've signed up everywhere. Nobody has anything.
Dan, I can tell you that some of my friends that were signed up just for Tarrant County were finding out about 2 weeks after they asked to be put on the list that they were getting a call to go in for their first shot.
Okay.
I made a request about 9 days ago and I haven't heard anything.
Right.
Yeah,
I
we
hear it.
signed up on the 8th, Martha. We haven't heard either.
So 8 and 14 is 21. That's another 2
That
days
should
from
be
now.
22, yeah.
Yeah. So
So Dan, how long ago
hoping.
did you get on the Tarrant County list?
On the 8th,
On the 8th. What about you, Dan?
I got on it. I didn't even know about the list and I got on it about 2 or 3 days ago. So
it will take a while then.
You should hear something within 2 weeks. You know how folks are posting on Facebook, hey, I got my vaccine. I started asking them, how long was your wait? And it's been about 2 weeks.
yeah.
Good luck.
Are they able to pretty much guarantee you'll get the second shot at the correct time frame? I guess you've got to go back to where you got the original shot.
Yes, that's what I'm hearing.
So Murphy's Law gets selected for Tarrant County, Travis
Travis
County.
County.
Was 2 different times for Debbie and I, and make a total of 4 trips to Austin, but I guess anything beats COVID. Man, those
Yeah.
look good.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to try to show you the underneath side. I may have to wait till it cools a little bit.
We don't want you to burn yourself. It's a little too high.
A little too
Can you
high.
flip it? Can you flip it over?
That's a good idea. There you go.
Oh,
Oh,
looks
that's
good.
pretty.
Nice.
Looks
Very
perfect.
Looks
nice.
good.
That's beautiful.
So that looks about the right doneness on the bottom.
Mhm.
Well, those are great.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought the small ones would go better with tea.
Yes. So
Okay.
you can hold your pinky up.
What's that? What did you say, Martha?
So you can hold your pinky up.
Oh, yes. Okay, so now in front of me, I have the cookies that I had already pre-baked, and our glaze is ready. And so we're going to add some glaze to these cookies that are already cooled.
There's no heat coming up.
I can just taste these now, Gail.
What's that?
My imagination, I can just taste these now.
Mm.
Dan, are you on Facebook?
No, I don't do Facebook.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I did so I could share info with you.
Yeah. Did you share that on Facebook, or did you say you did share it?
Some of my friends who have had their first vaccination have been sharing on Facebook that they got.
Yeah.
And that's how I found out. I stay
I'm one of the original anti-Facebookers. If I want to have social media with somebody, I'm gonna call them on the phone. I'm not a Facebook fan.
Okay.
You
So
must be a cattle rancher.
Well, I do a little of that. And,
Yeah. I see your sign in the background there.
Oh, yeah.
Texan Southern cattle raising.
Right. Most
Gail,
of my cattle rancher buddies, they don't do Facebook either. It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It can be very time consuming and distracting.
Oh, look at Gail's cookies.
Okay, so the glaze
Oh.
is starting to get a little bit of a hard shell or a crust
Mhm.
on it.
Oh, that looked good.
Yay.
Steve, I'm the original social media guy. My social media is amateur radio. I'm big in that.
Okay.
That's the ultimate social media.
It is. Breaker 19.
No, that's not amateur radio.
No, that's not. No.
Oh,
Looks good, Gail.
All right.
I've studied it, but when I studied it was used to you have to have your code, and I could just never.
Don't have to do that anymore. But
I
I'm
know,
a
I could
high-speed code guy anyway. But you don't.
I could never get the code,
Yep.
So when we lived in Thailand, we actually used it there because we came under the auspices of the Thai government, and they allowed us to use the ham radios there because we were under a Thai that had a ham radio license. So we worked at a hospital, so it allowed us to use the ham radios to communicate with the hospital and our mobile clinics.
Gail, what do you have in your hand?
So this is one of the ones that just came out of the oven. Can you see the sesame seeds?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I'm going to put a
Amazing.
little frosting on this one. And it's interesting, the ones I baked last evening, and this is too warm, it's going to fall apart. I can see more lemon zest in the glaze from the ones I did last night compared to these. And I'll show you what I mean.
They look good. Yes, I can see it.
The one in your left hand has more glaze,
The
lemon.
one in my left hand is from last night, and there's more lemon flakes in it.
It looks more yellow.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not quite sure why, because this one is the one that has the lemon juice in it.
Ah,
Also, I think the frosting is a little thicker
mm-hmm.
on this one than this one. So you're seeing the cookie through the glaze,
Mhm.
which also makes a difference in the color.
Fascinating.
You know, Gail, it normally takes me about 4 or 5 cookies to really do a sample and tell which is better. So, you know, I can't get enough flavor on one cookie. I learned that trick as a kid. I'd always get in the mixer bowl, you know, with my mom, and she said, well, you're going to get worms. And I never did. So I just kept doing it.
I've told this story before, but when I was a kid, when my grandmother would make cookies, she used to let us sit on the kitchen counter, and we would take the spoon and get the cookie dough. Grandpa would come through the kitchen and he would say, Virginia, you ought not to let those girls eat that cookie dough out of the bowl like that. But she let us anyway, and I still do it. I don't do it when I'm cooking for you all, but I do it when I'm cooking just for us. That's one of the fun parts, is to taste the batter.
That's right.
So
I am the official family dressing taster. And I just use the old scoop method and taste the dressing. But I've had family members drive a pan over to me to have me taste it.
Oh wow.
That's a great job, by the way.
It is. So do you use mostly cornbread, or do you use a combination of cornbread and white bread?
We use the Pepperidge Farm dressing mix, and the trick to it is the right balance of sage and celery salt. Celery salt is this magic ingredient that really makes things taste good. And of course, the sage.
My father-in-law was the taster in our family, and it worked well until he started losing his flavor. And then the sage really got heavy. And that's when we kind of, you know, we would still eat a little bit of it, but we wouldn't eat a lot of it, you know.
Yeah, they say as you age that you've got to increase the amounts to get the same effect.
Right. Yeah.
And, the last thing, I guess, to go is the taste for sweets. And so I remember seeing my granddad in his latter years. He'd be sitting at the table with a bowl of cereal, and he'd take a sugar dispenser and just go like this. And then, like, well, did you put a little cereal on your sugar there? And he'd basically eat a bowl of sugar. And we hope that doesn't happen with us.
Sweet is the first thing that you understand as a child. So I guess when you're going out, it's the last thing you would understand.
That's what I've heard.
It's the reverse. What you got there, Gail?
So I scraped a little more lemon zest off of my lemon.
Oh, good.
To try to add some more lemon to this glaze. And I think I'm going to have to thin it out a little bit to finish off icing all the cookies.
Well, you're going to have lemon slices for your tea, aren't you?
Yes. So I've got one more thing to show you, and then we will let Martha close us out and tell us what's up for tomorrow.
Okay, you just let me know when you're done. We'll keep watching you cook.
So these are some of the cookies that are bagged, ready for mailing. And you might be able to see the edges of these are a little more done than the ones that we baked today. So
I do look a little brown.
You'll get a sampling of both.
Are you available for hire? We outsource our cookies.
I have been known to do some special order cakes. Layer cakes was formerly my specialty. I love to make old-fashioned layer cakes.
Mm.
And I still do that. I said formerly because now I have a full repertoire of cookies to bake. Because this is our 18th cookie baking session.
Well,
Wow.
we didn't make cookies 18 times. Remember, we had egg rolls one time.
We had egg rolls one time and we had pound cake one time.
That's right, yes.
And we've had candy.
And we've had some
We did
Christmas
candy,
cake.
yes, yeah.
Yes.
But some of my favorite layer cakes to make are red velvet Waldorf cake,
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh.
Italian cream cake,
That's even better.
Mm.
Of course.
a devil's food chocolate cake with a seafoam frosting, which is
Yum.
a cooked frosting that kind of has a marshmallowy consistency with
Mhm.
dark chocolate drizzle. And then I've done dark chocolate with French silk frosting. I've also done fresh strawberry cake with fresh strawberries in the cake and in the frosting.
Mm.
And I've done red velvet cake with cream cheese frosting. And that was actually my biggest project because I made a double stacked cake and then I made 100 cupcakes for a wedding.
Wow.
Mm-mm-mm.
Or,
So,
Goodness. I'll take my hat off to you, Betty Crocker.
yeah, Betty Crocker.
We
So-
thank you for showing us your expertise today.
well, thank you, Martha. It was nice to be here with all of you.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tomorrow we have Peggy Spear from the Amon Carter Museum of American Art, and she's going to show us some art about children.
I
Good.
thought it was horses.
Yes, we thought it was going to be horses. Gail,
Mhm.
you talked to her, right?
I haven't talked to her, but the list that she gave me has children this week and horses next week.
Ah,
So it could
okay.
be either one.
Yes.
Yeah, either one we'll be happy with, right?
Yes.
Yes.
She's good.
So Gail, I have sent you the information that I gleaned from Dan and Debbie on your cell phone. So
Okay.
you have everything electronically. And I
Okay.
want to say thank you to everybody for coming and showing
Thank
up
you.
and watching Miss
Yeah.
Betty Crocker cook today. Thank you,
It
Gail.
was wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
see you
you.
tomorrow for
Everybody
Amon.
stay safe.
Yeah.
God bless.
All right, good seeing you,
Yeah.
Dan.
Good
Good
to see
meeting
you,
you, Dan.
Dan and Debbie.